Hey everybody, and welcome to another online math lesson. Today we're going to be talking about 10.7 areas of circles and sectors. This is going to be kind of relatively short and sweet. So the area of a circle, as you this equation right here, the area A equals pi times the radius of the circle squared. And if you remember, the radius is the distance from the center of the circle to an edge of the circle. So let's try it out. Here we got a wrestling mat. Okay, this wrestling mat has what's called a diameter of 32 feet. The diameter goes from one edge of the circle to the center of the circle all the way to the other edge of the circle. So if the diameter is 32 feet, then the radius is going to equal the diameter divided by 2, or in this case 32 divided by 2, which is 16. So then the area of our circle is going to be pi multiplied by 16 squared. It does not tell us to round, but if it did, you would just round it to whatever decimal point. But 16 squared is 256. So the area is 256 pi. Now this is what we call the exact answer, okay? And that would be, and then feet squared, right? Feet squared. But that's the exact answer. If you wanted to, you could take 256 and multiply it by pi in your calculator, and you could get the area is approximately 804.2 feet squared. That'd be rounded to the 10th place. But you got to pay attention on this assignment on whether they want the exact answer in terms of pi, which would be this thing right here, or if they want the rounded answer. But that's how you find the area of a circle. Relatively simple, short, and sweet. Area of what's called a sector. A sector of a circle is a region that's bounded by an arc of the circle and two radii. Essentially, it's like a pizza slice. You got a whole pizza here. You take a slice out, that's one radius, and you take another slice out, that's the second radius, and that this is the arc of it. So you have arc A to B, and you have two radii. This would be called the sector. It's essentially, it's a pizza slice, right? It's a pizza slice of the circle. That's what a sector is. So how do I find the area of that pizza slice? Well, let's first off, you name a sector by the endpoints and then the circle in the center. So this sector here would be called sector A to O to B. So the area of sector A to O to B is going to equal. Basically, you have to find out the percentage of the entire circle. So you first take the measure of arc A to B. So how much of the entire circle is A to B's arc? And you take that measure and then you divide it by the entire circle. This gives you a ratio of the entire circle. And then you multiply that ratio by the entire circle's area. So what is the area of sector G to P to H? So the area of G to P to H is going to equal 72 degrees divided by the entire 360 degrees. So you take this little bit here, and that is how much of the entire thing, and then you multiply that by pi times the radius squared. So you're taking the entire area of the circle and you're multiplying it by the percentage of the circle that this specific arc is. So then you have 72 divided by 360 is 0.2. And then you multiply that 0.2 by pi 15 squared. 15 squared is 225. So you have 225 times 0.2, which is 45 pi. So the area of G to P to H is 45 pi. And it says leave your answer in terms of pi. So there you go. And that would be, again, centimeters squared. All right, try one more. The area of a 145-degree sector is, so this is going to work the problem a little bit backwards. They're telling us what this information is. They told us what this information is. They're going to ask us to find R. So we're going to have to do a little bit of algebra here. The area of a 145-degree sector is 78 pi inches squared. What is the radius of the circle? So the area is 78 pi of a 145 of my 360 times pi radius squared. So I just plugged in the area for the area, I plugged in the arc for the arc, and I wrote out the rest of this formula. So now I take 145, divide that by 360, make it into a fraction, and you have 29 over 72. 29 over 72 is how that reduces, times pi radius squared. I'm going to divide both sides by pi. And that pi goes away, and that pi goes away. And then I'm going to multiply 78 by 72. So I'm going to multiply that 72 over. So 78 times 72 is 5,616 equals 29 radius squared. And now I'm going to divide by 29. And 5,616 divided by 29, make that into a fraction, is 5, that it doesn't reduce. That is what it is. So then you have radius squared equals 5,616 divided by 29. And I'm going to undo the square by taking the square root. And I square root that whole thing. So the radius equals the square root of 5,616 divided by 29. Which is that is the exact answer. It doesn't change. This is your exact answer. But you can round it to 13.9. But it says write an exact answer using radicals as needed. So this is your answer, because it says to keep it as an exact answer using radicals as needed. So it's the square root of 5,616 divided by 29. And there you go. The area of circles and sectors. Relatively quick, short, and simple. We're going to have a couple more lessons before we finish out this year with a test. So there is not going to be a final exam this semester. The district, in some regards, has said we are not going to be doing any summative final exams. So the chapter 10 test, and we're going to throw a little bit of chapter 11 in there. That's going to be the last test of the year. It'll go into the grade book just as a test. So please take advantage of these last opportunities to increase your grade in applied geometry. And go ahead and log on and get 10.7 finished as soon as you can. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.